In life, there are two champions. There are champions of the world, and there are champions of God. The champions of the world were gathered by the man Saul to go confront the Philistines, and when he gathered them together, he made sure they were mature, strong, trained military personnel that he gathered together. But for 40 days and 40 nights, a giant of the Philistines began to insult them. He was insulting them. He was screaming at them, "Give me a man that is going to fight me, then we can decide who is the victor." He was an embarrassment, because even Saul himself was taller than the people from shoulder. So he was a giant of a man, yet he was afraid. And the man was demanding for a man that is going to fight him. But when God was going to embarrass the enemy, he gave him a boy. You didn't hear what I said. When God was going to embarrass the enemy, he didn't give him a man, he gave him a boy. Because God's own champion might not look it. God's own champion might not look like what you expect. God's own champion might not look like what you determine. God's own champion might not look like what you can write home about. But inside them are the things of God that makes them champions of God. And when David arrived at this place, he looked at the man and said, "Oh God, what an insult. How dare this uncircumcised Philistine insult the people of God?" Oh, he was circumcised like every one of them. Every man in that battlefield was circumcised according to the order of the Israelite, but they didn't know what circumcision means. Listen to me. One thing is for you to have the covenant of God with you, another thing is for you to know how to use the covenant. The enemy can keep messing with your life even when you carry the covenant, because you never know how to use it. They were embarrassed. They were insulted. The guy screamed at them, did all kind of things to them. Hallelujah. But there was the champion of God who came on the screen. And when the champion of God came on the screen, he said, "This uncircumcised Philistine. This uncircumcised Philistine. This uncircumcised Philistine." You know the difference? He must have asked, why do the boys have to go through this pain? Why do they have to go through all this blade going on their foreskin? And somebody must have explained to him, it's a mark of covenant with God, that when you have covenant with God, God becomes the enemies to your enemy. He becomes your defender. He becomes your helper. He becomes your supporter. And anybody who dares to fight you will be fighting against your God. Others didn't ask. Because you can have a capacity to fight. You can have the arsenals for war, but you may never know how to use it. That's why the teaching ministry is very important. The Philistine look at him. He's too small. I can't fight him. Am I a dog that you send this little boy, that you come unto me with staves and catapult, slings? It doesn't matter what the champions of God hold in their hand. God takes over the weapon. You didn't hear what I said. I said it's God that takes over the weapon. And so David smiled. He told David, "You are too small, I can't fight you." Everybody will see him as a giant, they can't fight. He's too big, we can't fight. All the other army saw him as too big, he can't fight him. You know how David saw him? He was too big, he can't miss him. You didn't hear what I said. He said, "This man is too big, I cannot miss him. Whether I hit his head or his neck or his leg, it does not matter. He's too big, I cannot miss him. I just need to throw my sling." Can I tell you one thing? Perspective is everything.